Good afternoon. How's everyone feeling? Good? Good. Well, I hope you're feeling strong. We have many talks, but I think they're going to be quite interesting and stimulating because they are appropriate for the moment in which we live. I am from California. In California, we're having a tremendous drought, as you know, into our 4th year of drought. And the 5th year is approaching, and agriculture and the food system in California is in crisis. And Stanford University has recently issued a report saying that climate change is a contributing factor to the crisis facing agriculture and the food system. And 50% of the produce in the United States comes from California. So it has global implications for us. And my sense is that we are living between two worlds. A world in which an industrial approach to agriculture with many negative impacts on soil and water and human health and cultures has been dominant in many places and is increasing. And we are moving into a world which will be much more what we call agroecological. And why are we between these two worlds? Because the industrial system has been eliminating biodiversity. And as a good biologist knows, biodiversity is the basis of health and resilience in any ecosystem. We depend on the ecosystem for life, so it is imperative that we as a civilization move into a place where our system of food production celebrates, supports, and regenerates the biodiversity upon which life depends. So today, we're going to have more questions than answers, I believe, because that is the time in which we live. And our distinguished panel will be bringing some questions to you, answering questions the best they can. And I'm throwing two questions out to them in the hopes, and based on my review of their presentations, I think they will be touching upon them. The first question is, what do we mean by efficiency? In the world we live in today, efficiency in economic terms has been measured in quarters, that is 1/4 of a year or one crop cycle. That's how we have looked at efficiency. Nature does not work that way. Nature works over long terms with biological cycles, physical cycles, chemical cycles. And that longer term is what nature qualifies as efficient because it creates stability, health, and powers evolution and life with a much longer cycle for measuring what is efficient. So the challenge then becomes for scientists in our world today to actually embrace that complexity of understanding true efficiency over long terms. That's the big, major challenge I think that some of them will be touching upon in their remarks today. And the second question that's vitally important is how do we avoid concentrating the power and wealth and control of food in the hands of a few corporations in a few states, given the advances in technology and the need to feed 9 billion people? How will we do that? I think we have some good talks that will point the way to the re-empowerment of smallholders and those who actually feed the majority of the planet today. So these are the questions that I hope we will touch upon. And I will be giving them a 10-minute warning. They get 15 minutes each. At 10 minutes, I will just say 10 minutes. And then at 1 minute, when they have 1 minute left, I'll say 1 minute. And hopefully all of them will live within their time limits. And then we will have questions and answers from you in the audience. So with that, I'll sit down. And Donatella Stefano, I believe you're next. Or are we hearing from... Okay, great. Thank you.
I think it's better if I speak from here because the screen I can see the screen, so I cannot have problem with my neck. Okay. Good afternoon, and first I wanted to thank the National Research Council of Italy for the invitation, and in particular I want to thank Pierpaolo Duce for this idea. It was a great idea, and so important, especially in Expo, to talk about the sustainability of food, that I think also because there is a lot of commercial things in this Expo, so there is some moment of culture, intellectual and research aspect that is very good to talk about and to discuss today. So, okay. We had, as Pierpaolo said, I'm a professor at the university, but at that moment I represent Sardinia government. I was appointed to be the regional minister for environment. And so when Pierpaolo asked me to support, to promote this event, I was very glad, and all the regional government was very glad to promote this event. We started with the performance of boys and merdules, and I think that they symbolize really the problem, the issue of this event. And what is good and what is bad. It's difficult to say, and we know that we need to compromise. And what we are discussing today is maybe to meet, to reach the best compromise in what is good and what is bad. Okay, and the other point is for too many decades, we found that food was essential for life, that was part of cultural identity, an important role for economy, but not many people talk about the impact of the environment. Now the things are changing, and we are very happy for that, and especially if we think that there is a lot of agriculture has a lot of impact on climate change, we require really to reconstruct and to develop new guidelines for agriculture. So I have to, this was my welcomes, but what about snacks? Snacks are only a few questions, so I add a few questions to Michael's questions. What exactly do we mean by sustainable food? This is a big question because a sustainable system should account for a lot of aspects. Security of the supply of food, health, affordability, quality, environmental sustainability. Few years ago, Barilla developed a new double pyramid, a model for people's well-being and protecting the environment. So the food which is less, which is the best for our health, is the food that is has the lowest impact for the environment. And how we need. The second question is how green is our meal. We need to think about the origin of the raw materials, the method of cultivation, the use of pesticides, transformation and packaging process, and CO2 emission related to all the phases of the production plus transport, etc. So we need measures, we need analysis to understand how green is our meal. And there is a lot of work on life cycle analysis, and also two important parts are the carbon footprint and the water footprint. And exploring the Expo, yesterday, I saw that there are a lot numbers about how is the cost in terms of carbon or in terms of water of different kind of food, but we needed to really understand, to have a threshold, to have indicators for the cost in terms of environmental resources. So, and this was just an example, I don't know, in terms of emissions. And the next slides, I have some problem with this tool, but in terms of water. So if we think that to produce a cup of coffee, we need 132 liters of water, and coffee is one big example in Italy, but in the rest of the world, it's really incredible. So we need for sure to understand which is the best choice. And this is the other question. And it's still an open issue. And the open issue is what choice we can do. Kilometer zero, organic management, intensive or extensive livestock systems. We have several informations, but we need to put together to create and to answer the four questions. How to reduce footprint. And so for sure we need to go towards a sustainable agriculture. But as I said, and we can work on farm management, we can work on the sustainable transportation, sustainable marketing, but at the end, we need to summarize, we need to have measures, we need to have indicators and metrics for sustainability assessment. And so I think that it's very important, all the work that local administration, local governments in synergy with the national government can do together to meet this objective. And Sardinia region is working on this. It's involved a lot on different programs. And since I was appointed, I decided that I had to change something in the organization of the Department of Environment in Sardinia. And so I create a new office that is on environmental sustainability and informative systems. And Gianluca Cocco is here, so he can give some example of what we are doing. And mainly we are working on three sectors: agro-food system, tourism, and energy efficiency. So I think that those my questions, and now please enjoy your meal.
Thank you, Donatella.